time with my dear Mr. Wickham, and I dare say it gives me such joy to know that I, Lydia Bennet, youngest sister of the Bennet family, married first. And now everyone knows that I know how to get a husband. It makes me so giddy. I will admit, Mr. Wickham's ledger has not remained in the best state, and we have on occasion had to uproot ourselves more than once. It is a matter of finance that I have had to call upon my older sisters in date to restore my husband's debt after periods of disfavour. It is not to whom we own, but rather an affordability of lifestyle. They simply just do not understand that I need things. I, being the homemaker I am, have created a certain atmosphere my husband simply cannot live without. And with our first child on the way, I dare say we shall be the happiest of families. Oh, a letter. Oh, it's from Jane. Mr. Wickham must have placed it here for me. He is so good to me. My dearest Lydia, I dare say many months have passed since I have heard from you and Mr. Wickham. Well, of course, Jane, I simply do not have time to write silly letters anymore. Not when I have a husband to keep. Is all well in the north? I hear there is an awful chill in the air, and I would hate to hear that you are unwell. Mr. Bingley, I find, is a simply wonderful husband, and we spent almost a full month travelling along the seaside for our honeymoon. Oh, how I wish Mr. Wickham and I could do that. How romantic. I am sorry to receive the news of Mr. Wickham's finances. I understand how terrible this fate must affect you, my dear sister. I believe I cannot be happy unless I know that you are contented, and I will attempt to send you funds immediately. Finally, Jane, really, how could you have thought for me to live this long without any extra funds? It is inconceivable in consideration of all things. Honestly. Mamma does ask quite a bit about you, and begs father to allow her to stay with you for a short while. I know she does care, but Mr. Bingley and I are growing rather tired of her frequent stays in Netherfield. Oh, my grace, I simply cannot have mother coming to stay here. Could you imagine having her parade around with her tiresome behaviours? Mr. Wickham would refuse it. Oh, Lydia, you will never be as pretty as Jane. Oh, Lydia, my poor nerves are too stressed. I simply must lie down. Oh, Lydia, I dare say your father would be very upset in your homemaking ability. I thought I raised you better than this. Oh. What news entices you of late? I must say I am excited to hear back from you, my dear sister, for life here is beginning to grow stagnant. Lizzie and Darcy are wonderful, I hear, and expecting their first child. How wonderful! How wonderful! How wonderful! Must Lizzie outshine me on every occasion? It simply isn't fair! It was my turn to have all the attention. It was meant to be me the whole family was squabbling about. Not Lizzie. It's always Lizzie, Lizzie, Lizzie. Being pregnant was my one opportunity to be ahead of my sisters, and now nothing good has come of it. Mr. Wickham has become completely disinterested in me since becoming, so fat. I cannot do anything fun anymore. No balls, no dancing. God forbid, even Mr. Hamilton, our local baker, refuses to flirt with my skirts anymore. What is a girl to do? However, sir, I will make myself heard. Yes. The family must know that it was I who was impregnated first, not Lizzie. I will write to you furthermore about finance, but please keep quiet, for I would prefer Mr. Bingley not have to confide in Mr. Darcy for fear of rejection of your support. Yours lovingly, Jane. Really, I must intend on replying to Jane. She has been of such help. Oh, I really do need something to take the anguish off me. The absolute nerve of Lizzie. I simply cannot believe that she could do this to me. Her own sister. Ugh. I dare say Mr. Wickham will not be pleased to hear of this news. And to think that it was my motivation to marry Mr. Wickham. Oh, the jealousy of that I had when I would witness my husband and Lizzie walking around the gardens together. My husband. However, sir, it was Mr. Wickham who took an interest in a real woman after all. So much has changed since becoming pregnant with his child. I hear the whores in the streets whisper about him. The talk of him I hear. Oh, I truly believe, though, that once our child is born, he shall remain as stable as the night he was when we ran off together. The look of honour on my family's face when they found that I was the one who had wed. The youngest of 5, married first.